How's it going, boys and girls? My name is Cowie and welcome back to the Carrot Club. In today's video, I'm going to teach you about CFrame, what it is, why you need to know, how to code it, and all that good stuff. So let's get started. So before we talk about CFrame specifically, let's find some examples to wrap our head around what a CFrame actually looks like. So make a part in your viewport, turn it into a sphere by changing the shape property, resize it if you want to, although it doesn't really matter. If you look at this sphere part now, you can see this light blue bounding box surrounding the part. If you don't see it, make sure you have it selected and then you will see it. The blue bounding box is what the CFrame looks like. When you move the part, the CFrame moves with it, and that goes with rotation and scaling as well. Right now, you're looking at the CFrame on the part, which is something physical. However, CFrame also exists in places where you cannot see them. So for example, see how I'm moving around right now with the camera going in circle? The camera, which is invisible, has a CFrame of its own. That's how you make cinematics and cutscenes, by changing the camera CFrame. So at one moment the camera will be on your character, and then another moment it could be somewhere else. You can also move characters around using the CFrame, so knowing this is very important. CFrame is called the coordinate frame. It is a data type Roblox uses to keep track of position and rotation of an object. So that means it keeps track of two things. Just remember that. As mentioned before, parts, camera, model, they all have some form of CFrame that lets the computer know where they are. So by default, meaning the starting point of a CFrame will look something like this. Position equals 000, and rotation will also be 000. Basically, this means it is in the center of the world with no rotation. This is all you need to know for now. So I'm going to turn this sphere back to a block to show you guys how to create a new CFrame. Right now, this part is sitting at 0, 3.5, and 0, and I want to move it somewhere else by giving this part a new CFrame. Not position, a new CFrame. So first things first, we add a script inside of the part to keep things simple. This script is going to change the CFrame for us, and this is what we're going to be writing. Wait 3. This is going to make the script wait for 3 seconds before running any other code. If I didn't put this here, we won't be able to see the changes once we enter the game. And then we say local part equals script.parent. This line of code, we're getting the part itself. And then we write local new CFrame equals CFrame.new 6, 5.5, and 0. Here I'm creating a new CFrame that will be attached to the part. The number inside of the new CFrame is the new position, and you don't need to worry about the rotation. Then finally, we'll write part.CFrame equals new CFrame. This is going to overwrite the part's original CFrame with the new CFrame. If I were to write this out, the before and after, this is what it's going to look like. Before, the position is 0, 3.5, and 0, and the rotation will be 0, 0, 0. After I put the new CFrame in there, the position would now be 6, 5.5, and 0, and the rotation will be 0, 0, and 0. This is all I did. So if I were to run this now, you can see that it does nothing for the first 3 seconds, and then the part will jump to its new location. Now, sometimes we don't want to reposition a part. Sometimes we just want to rotate the CFrame by itself. So instead of this, I want it to look something like this with an angle. In this case, we'll have to create a CFrame that is rotated. This is what we're going to be writing. Wait 3 seconds again. Then we will reuse the part script.parent, and then local rotate CFrame equals CFrame.angles 0, math.rad 45, 0. And then finally, part.CFrame equals rotate CFrame. Notice how I'm not using CFrame.new. Instead, I use CFrame.angles. This is going to create an empty CFrame that is rotated at 45 degrees. The math.rad 45 here is called a conversion. I am converting 45 degrees to radians. Now, I'm not going to go over what degrees and radians are because that is a big topic on its own. For now, just know that you have to do this to rotate the CFrame. Let's run this. Wait 3 seconds. Now the part is rotated. But you also saw that the part repositioned as well. The reason why it did that is because when I created the CFrame, Remember that the starting point for a C-frame is position 0, 0, 0 and rotation 0, 0, 0. And then I changed the angle for the y-axis to 45 degrees. Then finally, I put this C-frame onto the part. So this is what the numbers look like before and after. Before, it is position 0, 3.5 and 0 and rotation 0 and 0 and 0. But the new C-frame has a position of 0, 0, 0 and the rotation 0, 45 and 0. That's why it made the jump here. So let's stop here for now. I think I have covered enough materials for a beginner video. In future videos, we're gonna start using all of this stuff to build a simple game. If you're confused about this, join the Carrot Club Discord server where we can chat about this. The link is in the description below. Once you're in, you can chat and make friends from all over the world. So thank you boys and girls for watching, and I'll see you in the next video in-game or at the Carrot Club. Take care everybody.